Hey everybody, it's Wolf Gemora here at Malibu Music, and welcome to the first episode of Malibu Music's Drum Circle. And it's all going to be about drums today and every day when you're with me here at the store. So I'm going to talk about my favorite drum parts, and I'm going to play also some of my favorite drum parts from my own bands, from Wolfgang to the Melodies, which is my band right now. And so yeah, let's have some fun with drums. And I just want to describe my set right now. I got a Tama Super Imperial Star drum set right here, and which is owned by the store and owned by Brad Bachman, our fearless leader here at Malibu Music. And the cymbals are mine. I am a proud endorser of a zillion cymbals, and I got a couple of crashes here, a ride cymbal, a couple of splashes, and a China. And I also have my snare drum, which is a Yamaha. And I got a cowbell over here and a tambourine over here just to spice things up. So yeah, I also my sticks are 5A. I used to actually play 5B when I was younger, but those sticks are very heavy for me now. So I like the feel of 5As right now, very light, and I still get to use some power with these sticks. So. Anyway, let's start off with I want to play some songs, some drum parts that really stuck with me. So I'm gonna play some drum parts from the music that I love. So let's start off with the most famous drum part of them all is from Phil Collins, "In the Air Tonight." And I'm sure if you're a drummer, you definitely know this. And if you don't, shame on you. You have to know this song and this drum part, and I'm sure everybody in the world recognizes this drum part. So this is my interpretation of that drum part. Of course, the real drum part requires a lot more toms up here, because Phil Collins did have a really big drum set to make that sort of that drum roll happen. So I'm going to try and do it with the 3 toms that I have here in my set here. So let's get to it. So this is "In the Air Tonight," that big drum roll in the song, and then I'll just go through it when. So just imagine, sing along if you know the song, and here we go. That was it. So it's very easy. Like I said, Phil Collins had a much bigger drum set with a lot of toms, so he could hit every tom. So I'm just spacing out a little more with the 3 toms that I have here. So we'll start off with the rack tom of here, going to the first floor, into the second floor, and then every time you hit a tom, you hit one note on the bass drum just to connect everything, so it's not so it's a fuller sound. So so here we go. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. "In the Air Tonight." That's always fun to play. Powerful drum part, and very orchestral. That's what I like about being a drummer, is that you don't have to just play the beat or the rhythm. You can actually orchestrate drum parts and enhance the song. So I try to do that with my music in my own original bands. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy that one. Okay, up next, I'm gonna do another really cool drum part that of a song that everybody knows, and I'm sure everybody recognizes the drum part as well. It's from the song from the Beatles, and it's called "Come Together." And a lot of people underestimate Ringo Starr because he comes off as a very simple, straightforward drummer. But there are a lot of nuances in his playing. So if you really listen to the drumming in the Beatles music, especially from what album is that? Oh my gosh, Revolver. From Revolver up to the last album of Let It Be, he has a lot of really cool drum parts. So I'll play this one from Come Together, from the verse. So he starts off with the cymbal, with a flurry on the hi-hat, and then with a tom drum roll, and then back to the cycle. So let's do that. Here we go. Come Together from the Beatles. So let's break that drum roll down. 2 hits on the right cymbal with the kick. So usually hit it in the center of the cymbal here, center of the right cymbal, so that you get the full sound of the ride. And I'm using an Avidus 24-inch ride cymbal. It is so far the biggest size of ride cymbal there is, 24 inches. So there are a lot of tones and overtones in this cymbal. Wherever you hit it on, if you hit it on the bell, it goes on and on and on. And then if you hit it in the center here, and that's got it. And then if you do, if you treat it like an actual ride, you hit it to the shoulder, on the edge, shoulder of your stick. So when you're ripping, you know, nice and loud, right? I love that. I love doing that stuff. So back to Come Together, you do 2 hits and the center of your ride with 2 hits on the kick, and then you go and do a flurry on the hi-hat, and then you do triplets on the first tom and the first floor tom, and then do the cycle again. All right. That's cool. That's a very cool drum part that Ringo Starr made up, and it fits the song perfectly, and it's a classic drum part. All right, the next song that I'd like to feature is actually the song that made me want to play the drums, and it's a song from a band called a band from Scotland, and they're called Big Country. And their first album came out in 1983, and that year I was in 1983. I was in 7th grade, and I heard this song on the radio, and the intro of this song is a drum roll, a huge drum roll. And I just, like, from hearing that drum roll, I was like, I want to play drums. Like right then and there, it's like, whoa, what is that? It's like, man, it sounds so cool. And the drum rhythm that is the same drum rhythm throughout the whole song has been the basis of my drumming for a lot of songs that I've written after that, you know, in my bands, Wolfgang and so on. So, like I said, it's a band from Scotland called Big Country, and the song is In a Big Country. And I'm going to play you the drum intro first, and then go into the drum part of the song itself. So you're going to see how cool this thing is, and you're going to recognize the drum part itself, the drum rhythm, from some of the songs that I play from my bands, from my own bands. So here we go. This is In a Big Country by Big Country. So I'm sure if you know my work, you're going to recognize that drum pattern. So I'm sure you recognize that from another song that I played with my band from Wolfgang, and I'm going to play that song later on, so you're going to see the similarities. And that drum pattern is such a really driving drum pattern. I love it so much. It just, if you want a song that's really driving and pushing forward and aggressive but still flowing, you know, I would say not chill, but it's got a very good flow. I always go to that kind of rhythm. So let's break it down with the drum intro itself. Sag sag sagadoo, sag sag sagadoo. And if you listen to that song, Big Country by In a Big Country, that drum intro just comes in, blows up in your face, and it just brings the song in, and just like one of my favorite songs of all time. And like I said, this song is the one that made me want to play drums. So let's break down that drum intro. You're gonna hit the snare into the first tom. Again. Like I said, really driving intro, and then go into the rhythm right after that, and the song just kicks in. Here we go. All right. So up next, let's see, what am I gonna do here? Of course, I gotta do a Led Zeppelin song, because one of my favorite drummers is John Bonham. I wanted to do a couple of things. First, I'm gonna do the intro of Rock and Roll, and somehow there is a mystery of the count in, how to count off how to count in this drum roll into rock and roll. I'm still learning the true way of doing it, but when I do play it with bands, I just go for it. I don't really count it off, and so I'm sure you guys know, if you guys know the song Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin. So let's try and do that intro. So yeah, that's a very very cool drum intro. John Bonham actually copied that, not really copied it note for note, but he was inspired by a song by Little Richard that came out maybe. That song came out in '71. That's a song that came out 15 years earlier, and it was a song by Little Richard, and the drum intro of that song was similar to that, which is you're hitting the snare and the hi-hat with the same amount of notes. Usually, if you're a lazy drummer, you would be like just doing like quarter notes on the hi-hat. But actually, you should do it with both snare and hi-hat going at the same time, where the snare has accents, and you accent on the pa do pa pa do pa pa do pa 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 pa, and then you put a little bit of ghost notes in between. So. It's quite a challenge to play, so I always try and practice it as best as I can, but it's one of my favorite drum parts. And another Led Zeppelin song that I'd like to feature would be the drum part of the song called The Ocean, which is from the album Houses of the Holy. So it's kind of an odd time drum part, and it follows the riff of Jimmy Page, the guitar riff, which is a great example of the band really gelling together, where the drummer is not just playing just the straightforward rhythm, but he's actually playing with the guitarist and the rhythm section, and they're coming up with this solid riff with the drums and the instruments. So let's try that. It's called The Ocean. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's break that down. So it's a very interesting drum part that follows the riff, and it just makes the riff much stronger. So let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. That's The Ocean by Led Zeppelin. And I'm going to play you one more Led Zeppelin song, and this is actually from John Bonham himself. It's the famous drum song called Moby Dick, and I'm going to try and play that rhythm for you. It's just a basic rhythm and blues, heavy drumming. If it weren't for John Bonham, hard rock music would not have that heavy backbeat. He was really the first one that played loud and solid, and just made that fucking drum set enhance the electric guitar and the bass and the vocals. So let's try that, and instead of using the hi-hat, we are going to be using the famous cowbell, because more cowbell. I got a fever, baby, and the cure is more cowbell. So let's try that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. it gives another kind of flavor when you're riding here on the cowbell, and it gives that nice different kind of feel. And it's really one of the heaviest drum tracks that I've ever heard, and it just drives that song. And I'm sure if you don't know this song, check it out, Moby Dick. It's a great song. It's a great drum song because in the middle, John Bonham does his drum solo where he actually plays the drums with his bare hands, and it's an amazing thing to listen to. So let's try that again. Moby Dick with cowbell, baby. All right. So one more drum part that I'd like to feature would be from another one of my favorite drummers, a drummer of the Police, Stuart Copeland, and he's one of my favorite drummers because his style is so different, so unique, and it's just the way that he puts this unique kind of drumming into the music of the Police. It just made the Police music just different from anybody else, and that's why they became so popular, they became so famous. And combining the songwriting prowess of Sting with the great guitar work of Andy Summers and the very unique drumming of Stuart Copeland, they just came up with just some great music in a very short amount of time. And I'd like to play you some of it. Let's see. I can do the live version of Message in a Bottle. And I like that so much is because when he counts it off on the snare drum. And his snare drum is so high-pitched, and it's actually much thinner than my snare drum. So it just cuts through, and I'll try to play that intro. And then he just comes in with the quarter notes on the bass drum, and then just hits anything, and then just improvises on the fly, which is what I love about Stuart Copeland. So let's try that. The intro, the live version intro of Message in a Bottle. Here we go. So that's a very fun song to play, actually, Message in a Bottle. It's so different, very unexpected, you know, he just plays very differently, very uniquely, and that's why he is one of my favorite drummers. And if you want to check out a really good song to try and play, check out Spirits in the Material World. It's such a weird count to get into the main rhythm of the drum rhythm that I'm not even going to try and attempt it right now because it's very difficult, and it's simple but very complicated at the same time. But do check out Stuart Copeland's work. And another thing that I would like to play from him would be like the intro to Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. It's very, and his hi-hat work I have incorporated in a lot of my songs, you know, with my own bands, and he's such a big influence on my playing. So let's try that intro of Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. So as you see, when I came in with the hi-hat, that's a lot of Stuart Copeland he does such great work on the hi-hat. And then in Message in a Bottle, in the live version, he does a lot of that too. So he makes the hi-hat sing, you know, it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4 on the hi-hat. Where he's really good at doing that too, you know, but he does a lot of, you know, stuff like that. So that's what I love about Stuart Copeland. All right, one more. Let's see, one more. Let's go to Motown, because Motown drumming is where is where rock drumming came from. Anyway, because John Bonham, being the one who really started the big backbeat rock drums, he listened to Motown, and all he was doing is emulating what the Motown drummers were doing, but much heavier, much louder. But all he was playing was Motown beats. So let's see, one popular beat from R&B and soul music would be something like from the song of Stevie Wonder, "Uptight, Everything's Alright." Like the intro of "Are You Gonna Go My Way" by Lenny Kravitz, where it's just continuous notes on the snare drum, and then the song itself is doing that on the snare drum. So there's a lot of Motown stuff, that a lot of R&B music, that early R&B music, that the drum pattern was like that. So let's try and do that. So it would be like, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, that's a really popular drum part right there. And another song that uses that that drum rhythm is "Original Fire" by Audioslave. So if you listen to that song, that's the way Brad Wilk plays that drum beat right there. So I hope you like that part of the episode. Let's move forward, and I'm going to play you. The next drum parts I'm going to play you are from my favorite drum parts from my own music, from my own songs, from Wolfgang, from Locomotive 3-Headed Dog, and the melodies. And I'm sure a lot of it you will recognize, some of it you might not recognize, but I want to feature it on here. So let's start with some Wolfgang songs. I want to start with a song called "Arise." And like I said earlier, you're going to hear the same drum pattern from "In a Big Country," and you'll just see it. So we're going to start with the intro, that with a big flurry on the snare drum coming into the main part when the drums come in and the whole band comes in. Here we go, Wolfgang, "Arise." that again. I haven't played that song in so long. Let's do that again, just to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. Here we go. So I'm sure you can compare the two songs that In a Big Country and Arise, which has the same exact drum rhythm. And if you know the song, it actually, I think the drums really drive that song to where it's supposed to be, which is in your head, in your heart, and up your ass. So that's the intro. What else would be interesting from that song? I think it just moves along to that song, and then there's the halftime rhythm in the middle. All right, next up, I'm going to play you another song with the same rhythm, not really exactly the same, but similar. And it's from a song called Sanctified, from our third album of Wolfgang called Worm. And all I was doing was just copying what the guitarist was doing, Manuel, at the time. An important lesson for drummers is like it's not always the drummer that comes up with the part, but sometimes the drummer just has to enhance the music that is being written. You know, the guitar riffs, or the bass riffs, or even the vocals. You know, so whatever my philosophy as a drummer is that the music is the master, the song is the master. So whatever the song requires of me, then that's what's going to happen. I am not going to impose my ego to dictate what the song is going to sound like. The first step is always that the song dictates what I am going to do, and then it goes from there. So in Sanctified, it starts with a very heavy and bouncy riff, and all I'm doing is just enhancing that riff. And then when the band comes in, that's when the main drum rhythm comes in. So let's try that. So this is Sanctified by Wolfgang. Bum dum 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 digga dum dum bum 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 ba dum 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 ba. So let's try that snare part again. So as you can see, all I'm doing is just copying what the guitar riff is doing. So that's how that goes. All right, up next would be the song called Center of the Sun, from Wolfgang again, from the second album. And I will play the intro, which is a nice drum roll across the whole drum set, and then it comes with a nice rhythm, and it's actually a very beautiful song that I enjoy playing all the time when I can. So let's try that. So it starts with a big drum roll with the snare onto all the toms. So here we go. Center of the Sun. That's when the first verse comes in, and then when the pre-chorus part comes in, there's a very unique drum part that I came up with. I don't remember where I got it from, but it just suits the song. It just suits the part of the song. So it's the pre-chorus before going into the main chorus. So it goes like this. Hitting the snare and the floor tom at the same time, just gives it that left turn in the song before it goes to the chorus. So yeah, that's center of the song. Let's try that intro again. 1, 2. Okay. Next up, let's try something from the melodies. From you know what? Let's do one more Wolfgang song, and I'll play Mata ng Dios. It's an epic song from Wolfgang, one of our popular songs, one of our most popular songs, and it's a really great song with great lyrics, and the whole song itself is amazing. So I'm going to show you how to play the tom parts in the verses. It's a very dramatic part of the song, and it just enhances that riff of dan digga digga dan digga digga dan digga dan 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 digga digga dan. So like I said, the music always dictates what I play for it. The music is the master, the song is the master. I am but a supporting role in this whole process. But that's how it goes. That's how I work. And so I do it with the 2 floor toms, and all I'm doing is just copying the riff. Dan digga digga dan digga digga dan digga digga dan 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 digga digga dan digga digga dan digga digga dan 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 dan. And then I always accent with the China cymbal, not with the regular cymbal, but with the China cymbal, so it gives it more of dramatic effect. So let's try that out. 1, 2. So that's how that goes. All right, let's move on to my current band called The Melodies, and we have a new album out, and please check it out. It's called Walls Might Melt, and there's a lot of interesting drumming on that album. I tried my best to really put some unique parts on there that incorporate my favorite drummers like Neil Peart, John Bonham, and Stuart Copeland. And I'm sure if you listen to the songs, you listen to the album, you can hear it on there. So let's start with the intro to the first song, Restless. And it's just accents on the crashes and some nice patterns on the right cymbal bell, just to enhance the music again. So please do check out the album so that you know what I'm talking about in this part, because this is going to be music from that album, Walls Might Melt. So let's try the intro of Restless. Here we go. So as you can see, I was putting patterns on the right cymbal bell, and it just gives that. If you hear the music, it just fits very much. So it's just very simple. So like I said earlier, I'm just utilizing all the spaces of this big right cymbal, from the bell to the middle here, to the side. So I'm just utilizing every inch of this right cymbal. And then before coming into the song, I have that nice hi-hat flurry that Stuart Copeland inspires me to do. So let's try that intro going into the song, and the main rhythm of this song. I was very inspired by drum and bass rhythms. So with displaced, they would call it broken beats, and I was very much inspired by drum and bass, which is a genre that I like very much. Of course, because I'm a drummer, and so let's see how it sounds like. So this is the intro of Restless going into the song. So please do check it out on the Melodies album called Waltz Might Melt, so you will understand what I'm doing. So let's try it. Here we go. So if you heard that the piece on the hi-hat, very Stuart Copeland. I love it, and it just fits. This is what's great when you listen to all kinds of music. You have a whole library in your head that you can take from, and you can use in your own music. You're not copying anything. You're not plagiarizing, because there's no copyright on drum parts. So that's the fun thing about drumming, is that you don't get you don't get blamed or charged with plagiarism, because it's just drums, man. It's fun to play. So let's go from there to the next song on Waltz Might Melt, called Amber Alert. And Amber Alert has a version in Tagalog called Sakim. It's not a direct translation, a whole different story lyrically, but in Tagalog. But I wanted to. It's a straightforward rock song, but I wanted to put some flurries in there that combine Stuart Copeland and Neil Peart and John Bonham in one drum part. So when the song comes in, this is what you're gonna hear. So that's the main rhythm of the song, and then it breaks and then goes into the first verse. And I was thinking of making it a very, I would say, a very primal, primitive sounding part to make it really heavy. And this part was inspired by Lars Ulrich when he played a song called "Of Wolf and Man" on the Black album. And it's just, instead of hitting the hi-hat, keeping the rhythm on the hi-hat, I'm doing it on the floor tom and putting some flurries on the first tom. So on the verses of Amber Alert, this is what it's like. So that's the first verse, and it goes to a regular rhythm with the hi-hat. When the second verse comes in, I put the same pattern, but with a little more first tom, just to elevate that part. You know, so when you keep it simple in the first verse, and you up the level in the second, so that it gives it a more interesting vibe. So this is the second verse of Amber Alert. Same rhythm, but with a little more flair. Here we go. So that's what it's like. Just gives a little more flavor to the second verse and ups the level. You always want to do that from the first verse to the second verse. You always make your drum parts go somewhere else, still the same, but a little different, if you know what I mean. All right, so up next would be the next song called Pendulum. And this one is a more straightforward shuffle, very heavy song. So the riff itself, the guitar riff itself, is very heavy. So I wanted to enhance that riff with the drum part that I'm playing. So it's the same like Amber Alert. I was just doing the same pattern, but in this context. So here we go. Here is what Pendulum, the intro, and the subsequent parts sound like. So as you see, doing the thing on the floor, on the toms, just to give that riff a little more punch. And then when the vocals come in, that's when you transfer to the hi-hat and then do your straight rhythm. So what I like to do in songs, and this is very unconscious, is that I do a lot of halftime when it's the bridge, just to give that left turn, and then just to give a warm-up into the guitar solo, you know. So when you slow it down to halftime, it gives the listener or the band to just breathe and warm up, level up, start from the bottom and then level up again in intensity, going into the guitar solo and the rest of the song. So in Pendulum, it goes halftime, just like Arise of Wolfgang. In the middle, in the bridge, it goes halftime, just to give you a break and to give you that, you know, that momentum push into the guitar solo. So here's Pendulum in the bridge part, goes halftime. There you go. And okay, moving on to the next song, but would be, let's see. Oh, I want to do Laman, which is a very different song in my personal repertoire of music. It's a very reggae inspired song, reggae tinged, reggae feel to it. So I wanted to, again, I got inspiration from John Bonham from the song Jamaica by Led Zeppelin, which is a reggae song with a rock backbeat. So I wanted to do the same with this song called Laman. So if you know the song Laman, this is how it goes. There you go. So that was inspired by John Bonham once again from Jamaica, and I think I really did a good job on the recording of that. It's a really cool drum part, and it really brings the song to life. So I hope you like that one. All right, last song from the Melodies, and this is going to be the last song of this episode. It is going to be the song called Unbecoming. This one was inspired when I heard the song, when Melody showed me this song right away. It gave me a sense of U2, especially the song With or Without You. So I wanted to mimic that kind of rhythm. It's like, again, instead of the hi-hat, I'm on the floor tom, driving the song with a nice big bottom and like a haunting feel to it. So let's try that. And before going into the main song, it starts off with the guitar part and vocals, and then I come in with this rim shot rhythm and bass drum pattern that I came up with. Do 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 do, or something like that. But here it goes, and then I'll go into the main song and into the verse part. So here's how it goes. 1, 2. So again, inspired this hi-hat rim shot thing was inspired by Stuart Copeland and Neil Peart from Rush, which they do a lot in their music. And then the rhythm part, when the song comes in, totally inspired by With or Without You by U2. So there you go, that is Unbecoming by the Melodies. So with that, we are at the end of this episode of Malibu Music's Drum Circle, and I am Wolf Gemora. I am the store manager and the resident drummer of Malibu Music, and I really enjoyed playing for you today, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching me play these really cool drum parts. So I'll see you next time. Please come visit the store here in Malibu, California, Malibu Music, and follow us on Instagram and all that good stuff. And we'll see you soon, man. So this is Wolf signing off. Peace.